This video has been requested by Omna1111 and also a few of you. I thought this was an interesting topic to discuss, and I definitely want your input on this one as well. I know traditionally, telepathy was seen as some kind of mystical, esoteric power that only people that practice the occult possess. But really, telepathy is nothing but an intuitive ability where you're picking up thoughts. It's how animals communicate with each other. It's how spirit communicates with us as well. And it's also how people who are in sync with each other pick up on each other's thoughts without saying a word. It's something we all do. So in this video, I thought I'd just tell you about my experiences with telepathy, reading thoughts, and speaking to spirit. And I'll also talk about some tips. So here we go. Number 1, telepathy with people. I'm energetically sensitive, and so I'm good at picking up information in the subtle outer energy layer, the aura of a person. Someone might just pass me by and I get all sorts of information about that person. Or I might hear about a person and I get a sense of who they are without seeing them. My husband, Jay, gets a kick out of this quality I have, as if it's some sort of a party trick. He questions me about certain people at his work, people I've never met, and I'd give him information I'm picking up about them, and he'd just be floored. When I was at school, I used to use this ability to do well in my classes. Throughout the day, I would read the teacher and what they wanted to see and hear. Because they're only human, they all have their favorite topics, even within their subject matter, that they're more interested in than any other ones. So I just focus my studies on that and put less focus on other topics. And then during assignments and tests, I simply regurgitate to them what they want to hear, use the language they use in lectures, and emphasize what they emphasize, and etc. And because they're hearing and seeing what they want, they assume I know as much as them, which of course I didn't. And that's how I used to get high marks at school. But as sensitive as I am, when it comes to people I'm not in sync with, I get a total blank. Telepathy doesn't work with everyone. It only works with people that you're in sync with. What that means is both of you have to be holding the same frequency for the communication line to be accessible. It's like how walkie-talkies work. Whoever you're communicating with needs to be dialed into the same radio wave for it to work. So for me, telepathy works best when the person I'm trying to read isn't so analytical. If they're mostly in their head, then I get nothing. For example, my family is mostly analytical by nature. They have brilliant minds with high IQs and all very smart. But I'm sort of the outlier in my family because I'm not analytical. I operate more from my intuition or imagination, that ethereal realm, than my analytical brain. And so growing up, I couldn't read them. As close as we were at odds in terms of where we operate from. So everything had to be spelled out precisely by words, or else there would be misunderstandings, which happen pretty often since words have their limit. It was definitely emotionally taxing for an abstract thinker like me, but I think that's how I got good at articulating my thoughts into words. Number 2, telepathy with animals. I'm sure if you have a pet, you'd know that animals communicate with us and each other telepathically. If you're sensitive enough, you could pick up on their thoughts, since they're much more open than we are. Now, I used to have a rabbit, and she and I were so connected, so oftentimes we'd pick up on each other's thoughts telepathically. She'd be preoccupied with doing what bunnies do, and I'd be preoccupied with doing whatever humans do, when all of a sudden I'd feel the prickly sensation of someone staring at me. And when I look over, I'd see my bunny standing on her hind legs, staring intensely into my soul, as if to transmit something to me of the most dire, absolute importance. And usually it would turn out that it was dinner time and she wants her veggies. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, that's not telepathy. That's just how animals are when they're hungry. Well, if that story didn't convince you, this will. I taught her to do some tricks. One was to give me a kiss where she would stand up on her hind legs and touch my lips with her nose. I also taught her to balance herself on my lap when I said, hop up. That one she didn't like much, but she'd humor me now and then for a treat. Now, I knew we had a strong connection, so oftentimes I'd ask her to do these tricks in my mind. I'd repeat, give me a kiss, or hop up several times in my head. It might take a few seconds for her to register it, but eventually she'd read my mind and do the trick. She'd even do the second trick, the harder trick, all without me speaking a word. Number 3, telepathy with spirit guides. Obviously, I communicate with my spirit guides by telepathy. But to be fair, my guides are already in spirit form, so it's the only way to communicate with them. When my mind isn't occupied with any thoughts of my own, I can communicate with them. I can tell it's from spirit because it has a different quality to it. So, for example, my mind goes mute and all my attention focuses on the message that they're trying to communicate to me. It's also usually multidimensional in that the message comes to me in many different forms all at once in a split second. I usually see a vision, like as if I'm seeing a movie, and at the same time, I'm taken through the experience of it, like as if I'm there. And I may hear words or phrases as well. And at that moment, I feel expanded, light, and liberated, but grounded and at peace as well. And what's usually communicated to me is not something my small mind could have come up with. And that's how I know that it's not me, but it's spirit. Number 4, tips on how to communicate telepathically. Thoughts are subtle energy. And so in order to pick it up, you have to be able to have space in your mind where your thoughts are not completely occupying it. That's why we tend to receive a lot of messages when we're asleep or when we're meditating. So if you want to communicate telepathically, empty your mind. How I like to empty my mind is I like to put my attention on physical sensations. Instead of focusing on your thoughts, put your focus on the sensation of the air touching your cheeks or the ear area. You can feel the coolness of the air and the movement of it. After a while, you'll be able to feel your own energy, your own aura. When you reach that state, put your focus on a question for your spirit guide. And then go into that blank state again where you're just feeling the coolness of the air. In that space, you might feel a thought enter in your mind. Now, here's the most important part. Trust that whatever you're picking up, it's from your spirit guide, even if the message might be in your own voice. That's it for this video. I hope it's interesting to you, as it always is interesting for me to explore esoteric subjects like this. Now it's your turn. Let me know how you pick up on other people's thoughts and energy. Specifically, and this is my personal request, how did you get good at it? That would be so interesting to learn. As always, thanks for being here and for shining your light exactly the way you do. The world is a gentler place because of you. Until next time, regards, Ray.